Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me wherever you are joining me. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the YouTube channel, please like and subscribe if you have not done so already. Also, if you're joining me on Facebook or Twitter, we appreciate it. Hey, while you're there, why don't you give me a retweet or share the link on Facebook? I do appreciate it. I was listening on the way to work today. I was listening to Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max on the radio, and they were, well, Max especially, and to a smaller extent, J. Will, they were essentially bashing. I shouldn't say bashing, that's the wrong word, but they were putting the blame for the Cowboys' loss on Mike McCarthy. And I don't want to sit here and try to tell you that Mike McCarthy is this great genius who is above reproach. But their argument got me thinking about like the way in which coaches are viewed and the fact that in many cases a coach can't defend themselves because if they do, it is read or seen as them like dissing the players. But let's not be foolish about this. Sometimes the players need the blame. Well, before we even go there, let's go back to this. The clock management issues or the clock management situations that the Cowboys had at the end of the second quarter, right before halftime, at the end of the game. People look at that and go, well, what was Mike McCarthy thinking? But Mike McCarthy doesn't call plays. Mike McCarthy okays situations. So, in the case of the first half, I have no clue, zero understanding why that referee stood in the way so long, not allowing them to get the play off. And if the referee is going to stand in there and block progress for them to call a play, then there should be some type of hold on the clock. That doesn't make any sense to me. And don't hit me with the, oh, well, that's the rules and blah, 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 blah. No. Referees should not have any power to affect the game in a manner where you can question whether or not they are on the up and up. All of that should be taken away so that when you look at the referee, you don't see anything but somebody worthy of calling the play. I mean, being in the game, calling the violations. That's it. So people can miss me with the whole, well, you know, that's the rule and they have to stand there for blah, blah, blah to let the defense. No. They ran up and tried to call a play. They didn't substitute anybody. So why is the referee standing in the way? Now, on the end of the game, Mike McCarthy didn't call a quarterback draw. The offensive coordinator did, the one that everybody wants to give a head coaching job to. Mike McCarthy didn't tell Dak Prescott to run down as far as Dak Prescott ran down. Dak made that decision. Dak didn't know when to get down. And because Dak didn't know when to get down, they ran out of time. Because of the play that was called, they ran out of time. And because that referee didn't just go up, touch the ball, and let them down it, They ran out of time. The referee was doing too much. I hate to break the news to y'all. We've watched this game long enough. You can see what referees are doing and not doing. There were issues. But even if we put those two things into perspective and people talk about the penalties, you guys really think that Mike McCarthy is at Cowboys practice not talking about penalties? This is somebody that defensive coordinator Dan Quinn credits with why they were able to turn the ball over so much, because Mike McCarthy suggested that all of the defensive backs, receivers, all of the DBs, linebackers, and defensive linemen get on the jugs machine to get their hands better. This is something that Dan Quinn credits to Mike McCarthy. That is something small. So Mike McCarthy thinks about that, but is not telling defenders to not jump off sides. He's not telling offensive linemen to not hold, wide receivers to not get lined up quicker and stay still, defensive backs to not get penalties. That doesn't make any sense. I don't know one coach, not one, that I have encountered in my 30 plus years, in my 31 years of being around football, I have not encountered one coach that does not stress penalties. Penalties and the turnover battle. Those are two things that are universally talked about by coaches. Penalties and the turnover battle. See, it's convenient to blame Mike McCarthy because you people have duped. Y'all have been duped. You've allowed Aaron Rodgers to tell you that every coach is stupid because they're not winning a championship with him, absolving Aaron Rodgers from any responsibility for not earning championships. Y'all do realize that in some of those Mike McCarthy years, Aaron Rodgers got hurt. Some of those years where the Packers had a legitimate opportunity to win a Super Bowl, Aaron Rodgers was injured. Or, and this is the part you guys don't want to admit, Aaron Rodgers didn't do well. It was Aaron Rodgers' fault they lost to the Buccaneers, not the coaches. Aaron Rodgers is the gift and the curse to Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if he'll ever win another Super Bowl. Does that mean that every coach that coaches Aaron Rodgers is not a good coach? So convenient, because Mike McCarthy seems to be a character that's easy to attack. Easy to attack. So since he's easy to attack, let's attack him. And blaming coaches for penalties, blaming coaches for turnovers, that seems to be an easy thing to do as well. So let me sit here and for a few minutes defend coaches. I have never seen a coach jump off sides, hold. I've never seen a coach pass interfere. I've never seen a coach line up incorrectly. I've never seen a coach obstruct. I've never seen a coach get a penalty for hitting someone. I've never seen a coach get a delay of game. Usually, these things are done by the players. And here's the thing. None of them mean to do it. That's why most coaches don't kill the players publicly when they do it, because they know that the players are not trying to get penalties, that the players are not trying to turn the ball over. So why am I, as a coach, going to go out into the media and destroy this young man or this young woman? Why am I going to go out and talk badly about what they did? Why am I going to make it seem as if it's their fault? We already know it's their fault. We saw the game. Why? I had somebody tell me once that, the penalties was a sign that the team was poorly coached, poorly managed. I disagree. I don't think penalties have anything to do with how well you coach a team. And why? Because we see penalties happen to every team at every level, whether it is the youth league or the pros. The Cowboys were the highest scoring offense and one of the best defenses in the NFL. If you're the highest scoring offense and one of the best defenses in the NFL, but you're also one of the most penalized teams in the NFL, does it really hurt? And think about some of the penalties that they were getting on in that game. They called Randy Gregory specifically for 3 holding penalties. That's a defensive lineman that they called for holding offensive linemen as they tried to go to the second level. That's not on the coach. That's the player making a decision to try to make a play to help his team that went wrong. Delay of game penalties. Now, delay of game penalties can sometimes be on the coach if you get the play in too late. However, most of the time, when you see a delay of game penalty, the offense is lined up with 5 seconds. There's no reason why you can't snap a ball in 5 seconds, especially when you have giant clocks in front of you telling you that the time's about to run out. So even then, players take some culpability. At least they should. We have to get past this thing where we always look for blame, where we always look for fault. Why? Like, why does it have to be a situation where we need to blame somebody? If we want to do any real blaming about the Cowboys, we should aim the blame where it should be at. On the entire coaching staff. Dan Quinn, who you guys think should be another head coach, defense did not do well. I'm sorry. They let that team with that quarterback run all over them. Never took the run game away. I am just a high school guy, but there is no way the San Francisco 49ers are beating me with the run game. I will make them put the game in the hands of Jimmy Garoppolo and beat us. I am not going to let them run the ball all over. They let a subpar quarterback off the hook, who we all know tends to be a little bit squeamish when the pressure jumps. All they had to do was apply a little bit of pressure. Flip the momentum just a little bit in their favor. Jimmy G tried to give it to them through a pick. And then your offensive coordinator, whom is one of these wonderkins, who's supposed to be able to do all of these great things, can't put the ball in the end zone. Calling plays with personnel that don't make sense. Where are all of the innovations that allow these running backs? They have two of them that are good to get off. No. Why are we absolving the coordinators of any responsibility in the game? Why? Because that all falls on the head coach? Of course it all falls on the head coach. But you're not blaming the head coach for offensive and defensive issues. You're blaming the head coach for clock management. So if we're blaming head coaches for clock management and for penalties on players, why are we not blaming them for what happened on the offensive and defensive side of the ball? I'll tell you why. Because if you do, then you have to point the finger at the coordinators, and we like the coordinators. So if we like them, we don't scrutinize them, huh? Is that what happens? If we like them, we don't bash them. Well, that's convenient. If we only blame the people that we like, that we don't like, that allows the guys whom we like to get a free pass even when they don't deserve a free pass. These are the things about coaching that the head coach has to deal with. This is why head coaches make the money that they make. Well, at some levels anyway. Because they have to deal with unnecessary and unwarranted scrutiny. This is what we all sign up for. So it's not a complaint. It's just the recognition that sometimes fault does not lie on the coach. It's okay for us to put the blame where it should be. You think that Alabama loss to Georgia was on Nick Saban? You think Nick Saban lost that game? What are you, crazy? Wide receivers who are backups let the team down. Bottom line. Nick Saban will never say it. That's why he gets paid the money he gets paid. Because he'll take it on his shoulders, even though the blame doesn't lie on him. Bryce Young will take it on his shoulders, even though the blame doesn't rely on him. Because he was putting balls in the hands of receivers who were dropping them. He put a ball in the hand of receiver that if he would have put two hands up to catch it instead of one, he walks into the end zone. But this is why they're backups. So the two starters go down. You got to put backups in, and backups don't get the job done because they're not ready for the moment, because they're nervous. Yeah, they're 4-star and 5-star athletes, but they still have to be ready for the moment. And if they're not ready for the moment, they're going to probably fail. It's just kind of how it works. So sometimes it's okay to just put the blame where the blame belongs. But many of those Cowboys penalties were not penalties because people were undisciplined. They were penalties because they were trying to make plays. And how can you be mad at players for trying to make plays? You can't, which means you shouldn't be mad at the head coach and blame him for when they tried to make a play and they got a penalty. See how that doesn't make sense? See how that seems a little like, wait a minute. Exactly. Sometimes, instead of trying to figure out whose fault it is, we can just do something really novel. We can just go, hey, they didn't get it done. Hey, congratulations to the other team. But I know people need things to talk about. So our favorite thing to go to is the blame game. I'm just not here for it. Not when it's not warranted. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. We do this thing Monday through Friday. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree. But whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like and subscribe. Until next time, peace.